Thank you, Chad. I think everybody knows the date of the game, January 3rd. It's a Friday in Boise. I guess it's a Friday. It's Friday everywhere. The kickoff is at 1:30, and we're really excited to welcome the Nevada Wolfpack to our game. This will be the third time Nevada's played in our game. Great rivalry with Boise State. I think the fans will be excited to see the Wolfpack here at our game, and excited about the matchup. We've had Ohio University one time in our game back in 2011. Coach Solich, legend in college football coaching, is the head coach at Ohio, and we're looking for what we believe will be a great matchup between two teams. I know personally, as I've looked at the two teams, excited to see how the Ohio offense does against the Nevada defense. You guys play a really stout style of defense here, and I think that's going to be one of the big matchups. The quarterback at Ohio has had a great year, and I think that'll make for a lot of fun, and I think football fans will want to see that game played on January 3rd. So one other thing I'll just say is this is the 23rd famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Our game started in 1997, and we're excited to keep this game rolling. Great corporate support in Boise, and fired up for number 23. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them. You guys have a lot to talk about today. Get me off here as fast as you can so you can coach.
What are some of the events for fans from Reno going up there? What can they kind of expect?
Yeah, so the night before the game, we'll have what we call Mash Bash. It'll be right next, adjacent to the team hotel that Nevada's at. It's a battle of the bands. It's kind of the kickoff to be able to get into downtown Boise, whether it's alumni groups, just fans traveling who might want to go from that event to dinner, to party, to do whatever they want to do prior to the game. On game day, we have a very vibrant fan fest. It'll start 3 hours prior to kickoff. We'll have live music. We'll have fries, sliders from the J.R. Simplot Company, big potato processor. Feeding fans for free. Albertsons will be there doing the same thing with potato salad. Keep it tied to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. Potato salad and hot dogs and sausages. So we hope the fans will come enjoy those two great events prior to kickoff on the 3rd.
Anything else for Kevin? All right.
Okay, thanks so much.
Haven't had a chance to talk to everybody since our last game, but really proud of our football team. We've had a lot of ups and downs this year. We've had to overcome a lot of injuries, and I'm just really proud of the resiliency of our kids and our football team, and we're really excited to represent Nevada in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, and it's a great honor to participate in that bowl. Since our last game, we've been recruiting, we've been practicing, and we've been awfully busy. Today is signing date, and just want to kind of introduce some guys, some new members of our family here. We're really proud of this class, and as you know, 2 years ago, recruiting changed. When they started the early signing period, it really changed kind of the whole rhythm of recruiting. Everything is more accelerated. Everything is much earlier. Our communication is earlier. We get the kids on campus earlier. And it really forces you to identify what you like as a player. I think the other thing it does is it kind of, I don't think that every kid and every family and every high school is caught up to the early signing period. A lot of kids are ill prepared for it. And so you get kids in different parts of the process, and you see ripples of that all over the country in recruiting. But we're very, very proud of the kids that we've signed, where we've signed 13 kids today. and that's about right where we wanted to be. We have 5 remaining scholarships, and in this day of transfer portals and kids looking at different opportunities, we just felt like there would be a different pool of people available here in January than there is now. And we're a little bit different situation than we've been our first 2 years. Our first 2 years we had so many different needs that we actually tried to get as many players as we could here. I think both years we signed guys forward because we recruited more than 25, and I think this year it's more prudent for us to slow down a little bit and save some tenders for later on in January. So we're signing 13 today. These players are from 6 different states. We have 9 prospects from the state of California, 4 of those from Southern California, 2 from the Central Valley, which has been a traditional stronghold for Nevada, and then 3 from Northern California. We got 2 prospects from the Pacific Northwest, 1 from Oregon and 1 from Washington. We went to the great state of Nebraska for a defensive lineman, and then we got a player out of Georgia, which the second year that we've gotten a player out of Georgia. So really proud of that. In this class so far, we signed 4 offensive linemen. And one of the things about these offensive linemen that I really like is that we need to get bigger. I mean, we need to get, in our sport, bigger is better. And so these kids are just more developed, more physical, heavier than probably any of the offensive linemen that we've brought in. And that doesn't mean they're more quality simply because they're heavier, but they're very good players as well as that. The first guy is Grant Stark. Grant's from Thurston High School in Springfield, Oregon, right outside of Eugene. His dad's a high school football coach there. They won the state championship in the state of Oregon, and just a really great athlete, plays basketball. Going to be a really good member of the Union. The next kid is Jacob Gardner from Los Osos, Rancho Cucamonga in the IE. Another athletic kid that can really move and that's going to develop really nicely. The next kid is a mountain of a man named Frank Poso. Frank is from Brannon in San Jose. Frank's about 6'6" and about 340 pounds. He's a giant man, and really, really excited about him. I think he can play inside or outside, we just don't have anybody that looks like him on our football team. R.J. Taylor's from Yucaipa. He's kind of an old school, quick, physical inside guard. Really, really excited about RJ. We were a little bit disappointed in the performance of our Union this year. We felt like we needed to be more physical. We feel like, we need a little more continuity there. One of the great things is we have all those guys coming back, except for Jake. And so we'll have more experience, but these young guys will add competition to that. That we signed a running back. We like big running backs, and Avery Morrow fits that bill. He played linebacker. He played running back. He's from Garfield High School in Seattle. Really physical player and a downhill runner, which we like here at Nevada. He fits the mold of a Nevada back. 2 wide receivers. First kid is really a talented slot receiver. Losing our 2 seniors in the slot with Fossum and Putman. It's going to be important that we replace that speed and athletic ability in the slot, and that's Isaac Jernigan from Bakersfield. Really talented, dynamic player that had multiple Pac-12 offers. We had a great relationship with his family. He just fits all the characteristics we want in a player, and so we're really excited about him. His father, DeJean, was a Harlem Globetrotter, very talented family. The next kid is Torrey Horton. Torrey's from Washington Union High School in Fresno, California. Long, athletic kid. His brother played at Boise, was a corner against us a year ago. Sister is a world-class volleyball player at UTEP. Really athletic family and a great kid. And he's a long, athletic outside receiver, and we always love those kind of guys. We got 3 linebackers signed, and one of the reasons we were late is we were standing at the fax machine waiting for the paperwork to come in. But first kid is Naki Matialona. You guys will have some time to practice his last name. From Dominguez High School in Compton, California. Really athletic kid. Very rare when a linebacker is also the quarterback on the team and probably the best athlete on the team. Extremely versatile, great ball skills, can really run. And that's something that we've been working hard to do, is increase the athletic ability of our linebacking core to, our coverage skills, our blitz ability skills, really important. Next guy is kind of an old school Mike linebacker, Peter Montini. He's a thicker kid from Foothill and Pleasanton. A plugger, physical, inside defender, also plays tailback. And really the best linebackers are guys that play offense and defense, and Peter fits that mold. Really hard-nosed, square-jaw linebacker. The last kid we were kind of just waiting on, and he was one of the top players on our board. Really excited to have this guy, Davion Blackwell from Folsom, California. One of the better high school programs in the country. This kid can really run, tremendous athlete, and a teammate of Caden Bennett, who is from Reno, Nevada. I don't think people realize that around here, that Caden Bennett's from Reno, Nevada. Davion Blackwell played with Caden last year at Folsom, and really tremendous backer. We had him in our camp. He can really run. And we were very pleased to hear the news that his paperwork came in, because we were kind of battling some other schools in our league on him. Tavis Tuioti is from Lincoln High School. His father is a defensive line coach at Nebraska, West Coast guy. Been at Michigan, been at several schools on the West Coast. He's got family here in the state of Nevada. Big, thick defensive lineman. Strong kid, fits the mold of what we're looking for up front. Obviously, with Hausia Sakona graduating, we need to add to our defensive line. We have 1 defensive back committed right now, and Marquise Allen Patton. What a fabulous young man from Lincoln High School in San Diego, California. One of the top defensive backs in the Mountain West region. Super athletic, very aggressive, great football sense and ball skills, and just really excited to have him from San Diego. Lincoln is a great high school. There's a great history at that school. And I think that's Marcus Allen's school, isn't it? I think it is. Okay. But great player, and really what a quality kid he is as well. Charlie Pollock is one of the best punters in the nation from Walton High School in Marietta, Georgia. Big, thick. If you ever see those NFL punters, they look like tight ends. They're big, thick, hip kids with strong lowers, and Charlie fits that mold. What a strong-legged kid. One of the top punters in the country. We were really fortunate. We felt like we needed to identify a top punter, losing Quentin Conaway. We really believe that's a huge part of the game. You got to have a quality punter. You got to have a quality kicker, to be able to win consistency. consistently. We have one state champion in this class, in Grant Stark at Thurston High School in Oregon. We had to compete with many of our conference opponents for these players, including, Purdue, Arizona State, Colorado, and Washington State. We always seem to be competing with them for players. This class is not only a great athletic class and a great character class, but it's a great academic class. The average GPA in this group of kids is 3.02 cumulative. We got 11 first-team All-League Award winners, one All-Conference Player of the Year. And if you care, we got 12 three-stars and one two-star. Right, Lucas? Okay, Lucas put that on there. But we're really proud of this group. They're great kids, and really will add to our program. And I think everybody's kind of getting a little bit used to this early signing period. But I think the best way to do it is get the bulkier class here, and then if you have other parts, you can kind of get these guys signed, and then you can really focus on the last spots. The last couple years, we kind of wish we would have had a scholarship available for kids that come available in the spring for grad transfers. And so I'm really happy that we have that availability right now. So with that, any questions you may have?
Is there a position that you are looking to target with these last 5, or is it kind of best available?
We will probably sign 2 to 3 more defensive backs, corners, maybe a safety, possibly a quarterback, possibly a running back, and that will come down to. I'm a big believer in best player available. If there's a kid that can really make a difference in your program, you try to get him in your program. So we're not just going to take a player at a position to take him, but if there's a quarterback out there that fits our goals and our criteria, we will take him. If there's a running back out there that fits our criteria, we'll take him. And we really are targeting at least 2 more defensive backs in this next class, and part of that will be when we get our staff in place. I want our new defensive staff members to be a part of that, picking those kids and identifying those kids.
How many of these guys are going to be able to come and enroll early?
We'll have 2 kids. Naki, our linebacker, will be here early. Isaac Jernigan will be here early. I think that's it, those 2. Yeah, they'll be here in January. And they're bright kids. They've been getting ahead academically, and they're both very mature kids, very mature kids.
I mean, you look at Isaac's list of offers, and it's very impressive. Why were you guys able to recruit over a lot of Pac-12 schools to be able to land him?
Well, we had a relationship with his father. We knew his father, and we're familiar with his father's work in Bakersfield, and that was really important. And I think his dad had an understanding of our program and what we stood for, and that was really important to the family. And I think Isaac's really bright. A lot of kids can go to a Pac-12 school, but if they have confidence in their ability and they find a fit that's really comfortable for them, they really can have so many more opportunities at a mid-major school like Nevada. And so he can reach all his goals here, going to the NFL, playing top competition. And I think he saw that. Plus, he had a real comfort level with our coaches here, our offensive coaches, and the system that we run. So, I think it was just a great match for him here.
You look at the offensive line, and that did seem like a position of need, and you went all high school guys. Why go that route rather than JC guys who might be able to help a little bit earlier?
Well, we brought in Tyler Orsini this fall, who's a JC guy. I just really believe in the long run that the high school kid is the way to build a program for the long haul. And we do recruit junior college players. If we would have found and identified a guy that really fit what we were looking for, we may have signed him. But it's a little bit different now with the grad transfer market. The people that really get hurt are JCs anymore, and because you can find a qualified player that's at a 4-year institution that doesn't have some of the baggage academically that sometimes junior college players have. So, we still are in position to have available scholarships. So if a guy would be available, we would certainly look at him hard. And we have flexibility. That's the great thing. I think, we don't have to take another running back. We don't have to take a quarterback. So we can kind of be selective about the last scholarships that we do have. And so we'll take a good look with what's available out there, who can help our program. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks on the market right now that are in the portal, and so we'll take a good look at that, and we have the flexibility to pick and choose.
This is your smallest class so far in Nevada. Did that allow you to be more picky on exactly what you were looking for?
It did have an effect on that, and we wanted to be more selective, and quality was the key, and we really studied these kids. We really wanted to know their character, their academics. This is probably, our average GPA in this class is 3.02, and so they're all good students. Many of them, we have 2 that are going to come in early into school, and even some of the kids that we're very close to bringing in today and are going to wait till February were really high academic kids. So that's important to us as well, and I think they'll fit in great here in our locker room and on this campus, and so really, really, really pleased about that part of it.
Some of these players are from similar areas in California. How do you think that gives them an advantage, at least maybe playing against each other or knowing who each other is?
That's one thing that we're starting to see here in year 3 is that we're going back to the same places. We're going back to Southern California, we're going back to San Diego, we're going back to Arizona, we're going back to a lot of similar places, and a lot of these kids know our players. And once you start getting a foundation, players start recruiting players, and your players are your best advocates for your program. If they're happy and they're having a good time and they enjoy their experience, well, they're going to tell the other families and parents that, and Davion Blackwell is very close with Caden Bennett, and so his mom talked to their family, and that's important to get that kind of validation and confirmation from another player. Coaches are always going to try to put their best foot forward, but players will be pretty honest with you what's going on. So that was very helpful, and so those are things that as you start to build on the players that you have and the roster that you have, we have some very popular kids that are from Southern California that attract other kids. I mean, Kamen Curitin hasn't played a lot this year, but I'm going to tell you, every kid in Southern California knows Kamen, and so he's just a magnetic personality, and he's not the only one. So we have a lot of kids that are doing well, that really are having a great experience here, and that really affects the families and the parents of these kids that we recruit.
Maybe the position that you guys have had the most success with is wide receiver. That's obviously your area of expertise. What are you looking for when you're looking for a wide receiver?
It's really interesting, and Eric and I really are in a line with what we look for. The big thing we look for is athletic ability, but what makes a great receiver is an intellect, and I say intellect, but the mental capacity to also marry the athletic capacity. And And so you have to be able to see the field. You have to be able to dissect the field. You got to have great body control. And then you got to have ball skills. And so we look for all those qualities. And we also look for an outside guy and an inside guy. An outside guy looks like a basketball player like Elijah Cooks or Romeo Dubs. And an inside guy looks like Melquan Stovall or Ben Putman. And they have different qualities. You know, the other thing about I've never had a great slot receiver that wasn't a great return man. And, you know, and so, you know, Melquan sets that criteria. Jernigan definitely does. And so, you know, those are just the qualities that we look for. I think the guys love our offense. We have a very receiver-friendly offense. We have an offense that a freshman can come in and play. And I think that's really important. And you know, and quite frankly, we would like our defense to reflect that a little more. You know, we've improved our roster with a lot of talented, athletic, young players. And, you know, we have to be more receptive to getting those guys on the field to help our team. And we need to do that. You know, at the end of the day in the Mountain West Conference, the team that can put more athletic players on the field over the course of a game and a season really has the best chance to win. And that's special teams, that's defense, that's offense. And I look at it as a total roster thing, and I try at every opportunity to improve our roster. And you improve the roster from the bottom up, you know, and because over the course of the season, you know, our starting lineup looks very different today than it looked the Purdue game. You know, we have a lot of backups that are playing. We have a lot of young players that are stepping up in special teams. I looked out there on the field today, and I was looking for all of our players. There's a lot of guys that are on the sideline, and so, but it's kind of where things are, and we take that and we put a plan together and we go play a game.
It seems like Angus McClure's hands are kind of all over this class. How much has he helped you in recruiting since he came aboard?
Really, really great recruiter. You know, one of the things about recruiting that people don't realize, you know, and one of the things when I hired Angus was, you know, I mean, every Friday night when we're at home, he's driving over that mountain and looking at kids. He's always at games. Everybody knows him in Northern California, Sacramento. And that's how you find players, you know. In this day and age, there's so many people that recruit over the internet or over their phone, or somebody sends them an email. And that's not how you find players. You find players by, you know, putting your boots on the ground and going and seeing coaches and sitting in cafeterias and locker rooms and watching games. You can really see a lot by watching a game. And, you know, when you watch a video of a kid, you see the plays, but it's what happens after the play. It's what happens when he comes on the sideline and he talks to his teammates or his coaches. That really tells you a ton about a kid. What does he do when he gets tired? You know, when he has adversity? How does he react when he has a bad play? You know, you can't see that on film. And so Angus has a great relationship with the coaches, and they tell him things because they trust him and he's professional. And, you know, he's a great example to some of the younger coaches that we have that haven't really been through all that like he has, you know. And, you know, Eric does a tremendous job in Southern California, and Angus does a great job in Northern California. And then we were able to reach out to the Central Valley for a couple really good kids. Eric, you know, Jernigan and Torrey Horton from Fresno are great kids, Bakersfield and in those areas that have traditionally had great players that have come to Nevada. So, you know, and Angus went back to Lincoln. You know, me and Angus were in Lincoln, and he went back there and got the Tuioti kid. So, just really proud of those guys. You know, we'll continue to lean on that leadership, and Angus is a great recruiter, and you know, we'll just continue to have Stronghold. That's an important area for us. You know, the Bay Area and Sacramento, really huge for recruiting for us. So we have to continue to do a good job there.
This happened after we talked to you yesterday, where your old coach, Coach Fry, passed away. Can you just talk about the impact he had on your life? And
Yeah, I had a couple people call me last night about that. You know, I called Chuck Long and Jonathan Hayes and Hap Peterson, some of my best friends and teammates. And, you know, Coach Fry, you know, guys like Tom Osborne, Coach Fry, Coach Alt, they're from a different era. And they come from where the head coach did everything, you know. And, you know, he was a spokesman for the program. He was the recruiter for the program. He raised the money for the program, did everything. And those guys are just so talented in so many ways. And you know, much of my success in my adult life, I owe to Coach Fry. You know, he came and saw something in me when I was in Madison, Wisconsin, and that was probably his greatest quality, is that he could see something in somebody that maybe somebody else didn't see. And you know, and I wasn't the most highly recruited player, but he came to Madison, Wisconsin on the worst snowstorm, and I thought there was no way he was coming. And he was knocking on my door at 6 o'clock and recruiting, and he had Barry Alvarez with him and Dan McCarney and you know, just a great lineage of coaches he's had. You know, Bill Snyder, Barry Alvarez, Dan McCarney, Kurt Ferentz, Bob Stoops, Mike Stoops, Mark Stoops, all those guys. You know, it's just it's great to be associated with great people, and you know, and we use about everything that he's ever taught us in our program here at Nevada. You know, Coach Fry had a saying. He said, you know, if you want the players to win, you have to surround them with winners, and so your staff has to be winners, and they rub off on the players, and you know, everything we do from our mental check to, you know, we don't really bumblebee huddle to come on the field, but we kind of do. And I'd love to paint the visiting locker room pink if we could get that done. But, I mean, he was a master at so many things, and just to, you know, he's like a father to me besides my own dad. And, you know, it's really sad news to hear it. And 90 years old, fought cancer for 20 years. He's a tough man. So, you know, I owe the world to him, and very proud to say that I played for him, and that, you know, that he helped grow me as a head coach. So really proud of that.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you.
Thank you.